thanks for staying with us. We have an interesting topic today because I ran into a post by Ibrahim Shatta, which I thought was quite Ibrahim Shatta, right?
The actor, yes.
Well, the actor. He posted something which I found interesting. So on the post, a woman was criticizing women. And this was her grouse. She was saying that in the early days of marriage, your husband maybe might have been a serial philanderer. He could have been having kids outside, maybe not being a deadbeat dad, doing so many unfounded practices in his hands and so many things that you're not happy about, right? Yes, that has happened and life happens to you, according to her. Now he's growing older. The time where he needs you the most, where he will say, our mommy, whatever you say we should eat, or whatever, you know, where he's now almost like a baby, where you need to care for him and pamper him. That's when you decide to travel, to stay with your children, you go abroad, you're not trying to find your new life. That it's unfair for women to do that. That it's unfair for you to make him suffer at the end time of his life because of something he did in the earlier part of his life. And many people on that post were agreeing with her that yes, true talk, a woman should stay with her husband no matter what, through thick and thin. And it's a conversation that is good to have because many of our mothers went through this where you know how things were difficult and how your mother had to cry through the night for things that happened. And then he's 60+ years old. They say, oh, he has some kind of cancer, he has some kind of stroke, and you are there to care for him, and you have to care for him, though you are still nice and strong and all that. So what's your take on this? Do you agree that being a virtuous woman, you know, to the end, that's the way it should be? Or do you think women should find liberation, even no matter how late in life it is, regardless of how the husband of their youth treated them in the earlier days? What do you think about this? Let's hear your thoughts on this. You can call us on 09139077948, 08127053687. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. So, the wife of your youth, the husband of your youth. Bisi, should I start with you? Let me start with you because this is some area you've been interested in.
Yes, so there was also something very important that she said, which is when your husband hurts you, if you know you cannot forgive, leave the marriage. Because she's seen a lot of women who would stay in that marriage. Maybe they are being beaten and, you know, just manage through and then start suffering the man in old age. So why do you have to live with that unforgiveness for that long? Because you want to get back at him when he's, you know, more vulnerable. That it's better you pack your bags and go when you know that you have irreconcilable differences. You cannot manage whatever it is that he's done to you. And you also should look inwards because most of the time, you're not perfect in yourself. He is also managing you in some way. And I found sense in that. And there was also something my husband always tells me. He says, all these things I'm allowing to do. Just, you want to do this, I'll support you. You know, it's because I don't want when my market has stopped selling. You now say it's me that made you not to do this and do that, and you start suffering me. So anything you want to do, please, let's talk about it. I will support you with my full chest so that in old age, you will not come back and decide to suffer me. And I've seen that play out in some marriages where they just stay because of the children, because they're calculated. Probably they can't take care of themselves when they leave the marriage. They are not able to handle the children. They just, you know, just stay, just manage all the... Then when the children start growing, the woman suddenly has wings and now starts punishing. Some will abandon. I've seen men that have been abandoned for a very long time. The woman is flying from one child's house in America to another child's house in Canada to take care of children, and they leave the man to the help or whatever, however he finds his life. And I don't want that. Okay. So I agree that whatever the differences we have, let us try as much as possible to solve it in our youth. And if it's not working, let's find out separate ways.
All right, so finding separate ways sounds really rational, but in our culture, it's not easy for a woman to just say, I'm gone, just because I'm not happy. She'll still want to try. And when people say staying because of their children, some people always assume it's because you can't take care of your child. Sometimes it's because the man is such a great father. He's a fantastic father. He might be a horrible husband, but he's a fantastic father. You don't want your children to lose out on a great man. So that's one of the reasons why I don't want to leave. But what are your thoughts on this on this video?
I have thought so, plenty. Because, you know, I'll forgive her because men have also come out to put out videos asking men to do better in their youth. No, I will not say that there are no videos. I was trying to remember 2, 3, no come to my mind immediately, but I know certain influencers, men, have called out their fathers for the kind of lives they lived. So I want to assume this person is exposed to the traditional life of things where we have a daddy wa. You know, our daddy's cup, our daddy's chair, our daddy, where mommy worships daddy. And mommy is just waiting which day I go graduate. You know, there's something they call when a woman gets to a certain age of like 60, where she's now becoming matriarch, they'll say, you don't reach man. In our own south side, you say, woman don't reach man. It means that at that point, daddy cannot be slapping you around.
Right.
You know, and some daddies will not forget. And the old day, they say, shut up, you, this foolish woman. They still do it. Even in that old age, reminded the woman, forgiving is a process. The pain of the past, and reminding her why she needs an exit plan. See, just be a kind person. Young, middle-aged, old, be kind. So that the people that are around you, they will love you and miss you when you go. They will grieve. Well, when you're old, they will want to be around you. They will worry when you're weak and how you're coping. Don't be a nasty person. Everybody just want to get out of their... freedom don't finally come. You're not born in America. You people need a mugo, whether you ask for it or not. The mommy will say, arrange my visa. When she goes, she's doing small mugo. She'll see that this morning when she woke up, they gave her tea. She did not have to give anybody tea with shouting. You say, I beg, I'm not going again. Let this child walk first. Make it crawl first. Do you know that women live like that? I'm not raising a defense for bitter women. But I'm saying that a process leads, it's a psychological issue. And when we belittle it and just make it about wicked women and we put them, you don't talk about the process that gets them there. A very nasty human being to live with in their youth. And then they are helpless. They go back home. Hey, your parents will kick you out. We're not talking about a generation when I pick my bag, I will just go to my own house that I have rented. And if you go back now, you are going to your father's house. You might even be, your own case might be worse. I had someone who, if she had lived to old age with that man, she'll probably poison him. Constant rape. I met her after a rape in pregnancy. He abandoned her in the hospital. She had to be sleeping outside. She carried back to her father's house. The father said, no, I've married another woman. It's not your mother that's living here. You cannot come and be my wife's second wife. He kicked her out. She slept outside. That process. And then you now said to that kind of person, they say she should go and beg the husband. She tried before we could help her rent a place. So if that kind of person lived with that kind of man into his old age and he did not want one day show her kindness, another way for her to learn to treat him. All this time we are talking.
So there's a part of that video.
Yeah,
talk about that. The woman was saying that. I just lost it. She was saying that there's nothing new under the sun. She said it in Yoruba. Like you know, like there's nothing new. There's a way they said it. That okay, yes, he hurt you. Yes, he abandoned the children or he didn't do his own thing. Life happens. You're not the first person to experience this. Others have experienced it. Now he's old. He needs you, and he's supposed to be better for worse. And you're now using excuses that they be long as that castigating that person. Do you think the castigation was right?
I think that it takes a whole lot to not give in the same manner you were given. You know, it takes a whole lot. I have conversation with my staff and I said, my new staff will not enjoy the way you people enjoyed. You are teaching me to be hard. You are teaching me to be firmer because I gave you laxity and you took advantage of it. So it takes a whole lot for you not to react to someone who has consistently hurt you. It's not easy. So I don't like, and I felt the woman in the video was giving permission to, like, let them do what they want to do as youth. You should not let people understand there are repercussions for your actions. And I think that it's important that people know there are repercussions for your actions. However, I want to address children that inherit problems that are not their own. So your father was not a good husband. And you choose to reward. You feel like my mom was so good to me, I am going to punish my father for not being a good husband. I totally disagree with that point of view.
Especially if he was a great father.
Especially if he, what is the definition of a great father? Was he responsible? Did he pay for the rent? Did he pay for food? Did he do little things in the house to take care? Because you're not judging the man understanding where he's coming from. You're judging him because of the way your mom was talking about him to you. In some cases, some women have turned the children against their father because they feel angry with him. And even though there might be some shred of truth to it, I feel that my appeal will be to children, please, as much as possible, don't inherit your mother's grievances with your father. Your father had 4 wives. Your father was a philanderer, and your mom feels like, I'm seriously bitter about the fact that we didn't plan for this. He had many children outside, but did he pay all the children's school fees? He did. Did he send all of you to school? Did he pay the house rent? Even if he didn't. Should you still have... I don't believe you should hold grudge against your father for the things that he did. Because he's a human being to your mother.
But to you,
listen, at the end of the day...
Let's put it in proper perspective, because there are different angles to that.
Yes.
Stay with us, we'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this family matter, which is quite important. And Tokwe raised an important issue of how the fact that children should not even inherit the fight, their parents' fight. And then I was going to put a scenario where I know of a lady whose father was never there for them. He abandoned the mother. She struggled so hard to take, I think, about 4 children to school. Fast forward down the line, he comes back. Mother is being pushed to take him back. She reluctantly did, because the children are yet to be married. She felt that let her husband just be around and everything. So he's there. But in her mind, he's just there for their figurehead. She's not doing running her own business. I mean, she's had her own life. So the kids can have a father to come home to go and greet. But they're already grown. And the kids don't like the man. So that's what you're saying, that should they therefore accept their father back wholeheartedly, even though he was not there with the entire growing up? That's the conversation.
Morayo, you know, even in relationships, there are stages where you renew that relationship, the bond. That in marriage, for instance, I am in a situation where I'm falling in love with my husband. There's a person to fall in love with. So you're growing old for the mother's part. Even when she wants to forgive, is the person there worth staying with? Is she seeing a person? Don't be saying you with your excesses and baggage and rubbish and just say, because I'm your husband, I'm the one that married you that time, your parents, so you must continue to love me no matter what. Are you
for better, for worse?
Auntie?
In sugar, I mean, in
that since they have legitimized divorce, they have since cancelled that for better, for worse. People just did not come to the party early. You have to be a person that people can love. There's no force in the union that the one I paid your dowry, so you will stay with me until I die. You will care for me until as Nancy I am. If I wake up in the morning, I must see you at my doorstep with egusi soup. It's no longer working like that. And same for children. I love what Okwe said, though. Don't inherit your parents' issues. Separate it. But the one your parents have with you,
forgive.
No, you forgive. We'll put it in perspective. No, I'm not against forgiving.
You will forgive, and
but
you will
never. But for a father to assume that it's a one way, it's an automatic.
Because you're a father.
Because the things you're doing affects the child's psyche. You are leaving the child unresolved and asking the child, just because I put blood, you must love. I am a Muslim, and the Quran does not even excuse it. The roles that you have, the duties you owe your parents is non-negotiable. Whether they were there, kind or not. But whether you are psychologically enabled to be able to do it easily is another issue, so that you are not monetizing love.
Let me take this call.
And companionship.
I'll come
You
back.
cannot sit with them in the same room, but you send money to their account.
Good morning, are you there? But I think it's Bola I have. Good morning, Bola. Hello?
She's listening.
No,
Hello.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Please, every time this kind of topic comes on, especially as ladies, how about we just emphasize the fact that people should be kind, people should treat people well. I'm not even saying male or female now. I'm using people, because it's like this role division is making everybody not to think straight. How about people be kind, people be good, people be responsible, people do what they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do it, and people know that there are consequences. Our culture is enshrined entrenched with the fact that some people deserve consequences while some people don't. I live in a situation where the person was even raised with the idea that I should be able to do anything and everything, and your responsibility is to accept it, live with it, and even take care of me and worship me in the process. That is what we were raised with. Their mother is alive. That is what she thinks and feels. So how about anytime this thing comes up, talk to our society, emphasize responsibility, emphasize kindness, emphasize treating people with respect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Bola. I like that. But you see, at what point do we emphasize the kindness? Is that the point of when the man was dating, when the early marriage, or is the consequence of his action we begin to activate our kindness?
Yeah, I think what she means is for the man to understand that every action has its consequences, and the man must be kind. And I want us to, focus a bit more on the woman in question, because this, story originated from what the woman is expected to do. So I find it, because I've realized that over the years, most women who stay, because some people will say it's not easy to just get up and leave a situation that is not favorable to you. But most people who stay build up so much resentment that it begins to affect their physical health. So I'm focusing on the woman right now. You're in a marriage where the daddy wife is constantly dealing with you. So let's forget about the olden days where our mothers had to stay through and all that. We have moved away from that. We are now talking to the new generation of men and women who are like us, who are getting into marriage. You are there in that resentment because you feel, I don't have a choice, or I don't have the willpower to go. And you are building sicknesses in your body that a few years down the line, they are carrying you for either one cancer this or one that, just because you want to make the marriage work. You build that resentment so much that in old age, you are now finding ways to, express yourself away from that man who will be home suffering the consequences. Do we have to get to that point every time?
Yeah.
The fact that you are sitting there in that marriage because you want to make it work and raise your children, you ensure that your children are raised in a very toxic environment. They too will have trauma that they're going to be dealing with in their own marriages. Some of them will meet men who will treat them worse than their father. Should we look at it holistically? Should we look at it in such a way that if this is not working, can we find the willpower to love ourselves enough and take ourselves out of that situation? Everybody will find that love that will nourish you at the end of the day.
I want to address something you said, which is toxic, because sometimes it's not always toxic. Sometimes actually there's a relationship where I understand you're not making as much money. I'm the woman. You're only making 100,000 naira. Okay. I'm making 600,000 naira. And I'm okay because both of us have mutual respect, right? But you have attitude issues because, you have the insecurity matter. Those things have, but I can manage it. I can manage it because I'm managing it, because I'm in a marriage where I have to manage it. Society expects me to manage it. This is not cheating on you. It's just not providing for you. Manage it now. But that might not be toxic for your children. But in your heart, you really wanted somebody who takes care of you. You now get to 50, 60 years old, and you're tired of constantly managing, and we're constantly bringing the money. You just want freedom. You just want to be careful. You just want to go to Barbados to have fun. You don't want anybody to just be on your case. Can you, at that time, leave him and move on? Or
for what reason? Because I'm bringing that money.
Solution.
No, because
give him a small wife.
Everybody's deal breaker is different. Some people can manage that situation.
Did you not know before you married him that he bring 100,000 and you bring 600?
No,
you knew.
People lose their job inside marriage now. What are you talking about?
Let me say what I heard from the caller.
Let me pause you for a second because I want to hear this. Let me take this call. Mrs. Ladeja, I'll come to you talk with. Mrs. Ladeja, are you there? I'm sorry for keeping you. Go ahead, please.
And ladies, everybody, good morning and God bless you.
Thank you,
Good morning, ma.
Thank you, ma.
And bless your husband that allows you to be free, to have peace, to have joy, and to be giving us this program that is enlightening everybody.
Amen. Thank you, ma.
Thank you. You see this matter, Yoruba said, nígbà tá a kẹ́ ń ṣe iṣu kò fẹ́ tó gbọ́, kò tó ń gúnyán ariwo ń ta. Ẹnìkan yàgbẹ́ ẹnìkan kò, ẹ tó yàgbẹ́ ó ti gbàgbé ó. So when the men are doing gigi, children are not stupid. Which child likes to see his mother suffering? No child. And for maybe I don't know how God does it. Whether it's because of 9 months pregnancy or what. Children will always back their mother.
Yes.
Unless that child doesn't have sense. Children will always back their mother. God forbid any bad thing. Do you know how many women are on wheelchair now because of the way their husband treated them?
Yes.
Now.
Do you know how many women are having hypertension, diabetes because of what they got in marriage?
Yes.
Tell me, so which child is going to be his mother when he's supposed to be enjoying them now? And then on wheelchair, you are making money that your mother is supposed to be enjoying. You are using it at hospital. Which child is going to be happy? Please, on this forum, tell men to take care of their wives.
To be kind.
And tell women to take care of their husbands.
Yeah.
To be kind,
Kindness,
just like the
yeah.
last caller said. Be kind. Okay, let me go on a break. When I come back, I'll take your talk. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this matter as regards family, and Tokwe had a comment before the break. Go ahead,
Yes.
please.
So I think that when we talk about kindness, especially, I'm sitting on the children because I know that for some women that have received that level of bitterness or they spent 40 years, some 35 years in a marriage that they were unhappy with. They were waiting until their time of omugo to just escape that marriage. And what you now see is abandoning the fathers at home. My appeal is to children not to be kind to the father. Even if the father was wicked to you, he chased you out of the house with pregnancy, he beat you up, you will not abandon your father. You would send money home to him. You will not let your father be hungry. You will not leave your father alone. Because God does not reward us based on our own actions alone. He blesses us despite our evils that we do. So I think that a lot of conversation I've been hearing, and it's not just what we're saying on the show, even before we came on the show, is a case of, I will never take care of him. I will never forgive him. And I'm like, why are you doing like this? What's Shakara of I will not forgive him? It's for your own good. You will die. He will die. All of us will die. So what would it cost you to send that 20K for him to eat? Even if he did not take care of you as a child. Even if you did not take care of your parents, let us stop this idea of you are so angry you would abandon your parents. Some abandon their mothers, some abandon their fathers, some abandon people that take care of them because of one thing they did in adulthood. I think that it is important that we speak kindness and ask that no matter how angry you are, forgive. You might not bring them back into your house and be nurturing them every day, but send something
Okay,
home.
so let's talk about forgiveness in a minute. Let me take Jakub. Good morning, Jakub. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Mariah.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Excuse me. Yeah. I totally agree with Sister Topper this morning. And then let me disagree a little bit with the woman that called her. That used a proper word that or something like that. You see, Mariah, I know of the street in this Lagos. 85% of the landlords in that street is women. What happened to those men? They are gone. See, Morayo, I want to quickly tell you a little story without not taking much of our time.
Right.
There was a day, a friend of mine, older than me, he called me that two of his children is misbehaving to him, that he does not get what they're trying to do. He sent them message, they dare not go on, another thing, get into their home. Morayo, do you know those children will begin to tell me that their father does not pay the bills, he does not do this, does not do that. And then do you know that the man always pay the bill, but pay the bill through his wife? And whatever he wants to pay, this is a lesson for women. Whatever, even including school fees, he pays the money direct to the wife's account, the woman pays the bill. And then what caused this is that by the time the man wants to do the maintenance, I think this animal understand what I'm saying. By the time the woman got to know that the man is already trying to marry second wife, he found the table around. Right. And then begin to tell those children that your father does not pay me, he does not buy food, and then why is the father that pay all those things?
Thank you, Jakub. Let me bring in this angle.
It is a long story. It is a long story that a man.
Let me. I like the angle Jakub is bringing us to, because taking us back to what you said, the woman. What role? Yes, you've been hurt, but what role do you play in how your children treat their father? There was a story I was hearing that a woman totally hates her father because her mother told her that he wanted her to abort the pregnancy of her several times. Unfortunately, the mother never did. So because of that, she had that resentment against her father. So these are things that we build over time. And then when our fathers are old, we now take our mothers away from them, saying that
Why did you even tell that story?
So the point is that, should you tell your children that kind of story? Why shouldn't you? Well, it's the truth. Should you keep those kind of stories from your children? Not you, but if I tell you that story, it's not for you to hate your father. It's for you to know the truth, what happened.
Hey, but then you
So why are you
all
telling
round.
me?
You raise your child all round. If you tell them a story, do not leave the end. Maybe he made a youthful mistake. You will start the story.
Complete
the story when he made the amends.
Right.
How did you end up with him? Even if you had wanted to abort it, when he accepted the child eventually, he raised him. He's a better man. The choices he made at maybe 19 when he got you pregnant in secondary school is not the same thing he made when he was 30, when he had even more strength. So we know some shotgun weddings those days where the family say, you don't give a belly carry. You know, you cannot start on the same. Be honest. And the children, raise them whole. Let them be whole. I completely love what Tokwe has said. Totally what Tokwe has said is correct. The child must forgive.
Right.
But we cannot forget that some parents never help their children to closure. Some fathers think, I am a father. They say, it's an African talk where I go kill you, nothing will happen. I am a father, I'm your father. Anything I do to you, take it like that. It's not like that. That's the mindset. And you're expecting an adult person to commit to you because you see, don't be that 20,000 naira where you send. In their old age, it's more about the companionship.
Yeah.
They might be in their old age and they are no friends, no sisters.
Okay.
And they need your companionship. And you're in your house, you put them in the BQ. So, worst case, put them in the BQ. You don't even go and visit them.
I want to move this. I want to talk about children because I wanted to move away from the children.
Yeah, a little bit about the children. So, sometimes when things have not hit you, you can easily say, let's just forget about it. Let's just forgive because you have not experienced hurt. People, based on how they are wired, transmute hurt in different ways. For somebody, what you do or say will be received differently from another person. How that trauma attacks you is different. So when you see those people who have not forgiven, it's not for you to judge them. It's for you to find out that trauma that is holding them down from not forgiving their parents and understand from their own perspective because they have their story. They have what they're holding on to. So the preaching is across board. Let us become good human beings in a way that no matter what happens to us, we forgive, understanding that those things happen for our benefit. I had a very, let me not use the word horrible on live TV, but a very funny childhood that when I started healing my childhood trauma, I understood that it happened to make me who I am today. And it gave me a stronger story to inspire other people. If I didn't go through that, trust me, there are still some parts of my parents that I would not have forgiven today. But I went on a journey, and we should give people grace to go through that journey. So that's because he's your father or because he's your mother, you must make sure you take care of them. Allow people go through their process. Ask them questions. Aid them through that process. At the end of the day, make them understand that the forgiveness is not for that other person. It's for you because you want a whole life.
We talked about the children and other factors, but there's an important fact. I want us to go back to the original story. The woman who has this time, this new time, that the Baba is now 60, 65 years old, the 70. It's her own escape. She wants to live. She wants to breathe. She's been harassed, maltreated by this man for many years. Now, he provides, he has a house for her. Maybe he bought her a car. But he's also spending all this other money with other people out there. He doesn't commit emotionally to the relationship. She has felt alone all through for 20, 25 years. Now she's 55. She's blossomed and getting to that point where she has a bit more confidence. She wants to move and move to her children. Leave the man in Nigeria to be all right with the house help. And it doesn't bother her. There's house help take care of that. I'll pay the money every month. House help is okay. Maybe just to make sure he eats his lunch and dinner. Fine. Why are we therefore faulting her for going to Barbados, going to Maldives with her children, following being a nanny for her kids in Australia?
For becoming alive.
Finally having a life that she missed out in 5 first years of her marriage. She now wants to get it back, and you are now saying that that's our conversation I want us to have after the break. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So that's my question before the break goes to Tokwe. Tokwe, please help us answer the question I asked.
So honestly, for me, I think that life has consequences. It's not a matter of, we can choose to forgive. You can choose to say, I would take care of you. But if you did, a relationship you did not nurture cannot nurture you. Do you understand? So any other thing that happens after a bad relationship is just benevolence. If a woman decides to leave marriage in her 50s because she does not feel united with her husband, she's still married, but she's now taking, I'm finally free. Yes. I've raised my children. Everybody is married. Let me go and enjoy my life. And she travels for a long time. You cannot blame that woman because it is the responsibility of the husband to have nurtured such a tight bond with her partner that my mom tried for me when I had my twins that she did 3 months, she would come and do like 2 weeks.
I even cook
but right now, they are together. It's a case of immediately she leaves and it's only 3 nights. My dad will start, my dad will not even call my mom again. He will start calling me. But I know that they are extremely close. So I cannot bring pause and that Gary. But if my dad had not maintained that relationship with his wife as a young couple, the woman will be happy to escape. And I will be willing to accept the help she gives me.
So you cannot nurture what you didn't nurture.
There are consequences for your lack of not nurturing your relationship.
Come back.
I like that. I like that.
Let me take this tweet. Smith Olawale says, what a topic. You have said it all. You can be there with money and not be there physically available. For example, I can sit with my dad and chat maybe for 5 minutes, but I can sit with my mom for 48 hours and I will not get tired. I'm going to send this thing. So we are talking about that beginning. And then it doesn't have to be toxic. It doesn't even have to be wicked. A woman can be married to a man and, you know, she understands the compromises that she has to make. Okay, we cannot, madam, you can't take that Abuja job. Our kids are small. You can't go to Kinikon. The worst one is, I don't want my wife to work. My wife cannot go out. My wife cannot have a life. I should be thinking is that, okay, all these things that you have outlined as my impediments, go out of my way. Can I have my life? And then you told her, stay home with the children. She stayed home. When the children are no longer home, she go stay home with the home.
She will stay with you now.
No, but you were never there with her when she was home with the children.
Because you're clubbing and having fun.
Yes.
Once you're staying home with the children, have gone.
She has paid her price and waited for her to reap her work.
This is an advice to people who are getting into marriage. You know, let us not over-expect from human beings. We build so much high expectations from how he is supposed to fit into this catalog. And if he doesn't fit in, we are somehow not happy with the outcome. But understand that if you choose to go down this road with this person, you will carry this person and their baggage. And that's why they say when you're cutting, open 2 eyes. Because when you are married, you should close one. Open the 2 eyes, shine it. Those things that you can't deal with, knock it off. When you're done with that and you get into that marriage, you see, you will close one. Because if you open 2, you cannot stay in any marriage, no matter how perfect it seems. So that's one. Secondly, we need to understand that people will evolve in marriage. Can we give room for that evolvement? Can we teach our men, even as we are raising them, to be good to their women? Can we teach our women to be good to their men? I always tell my daughter, I said, when you marry tomorrow, I'm not coming to your house to do omugo because I can't leave my baby. You will bring your things to my house. I will nurture you for 1 month and you go back to your husband because I cannot leave my baby. Why? Because he's nurturing this relationship. So let's build our men to understand that when they choose to love you, let them love you. Let them play the fatherly role. Let them play the husband-loving role so that they will not have issues where tomorrow they are being abandoned.
Yes.
You know?
Let me take this few messages on social media before we wrap up. Let me take this one from Ifoma Eleni Toba. She said, let's not forget these children inherit some of their genes from their parents. So those unpleasant habits that births, the actions are most likely passed on to these children. Okay,
someone had an Islamic question for me. Bello Abdullah says, my question goes to Nima. Islamically, what is the fate of such parents that are of the habit of setting their children against their parents? That's talking to women who usually would. And then Lawal has message for women generally. Every man should wise up because these women have plan B. Listening to the ladies of your view make me to be wiser and preparatory for my old age. Any woman who thinks say she go shock me will be shocked.
Just
don't let
his wife.
any woman use you.
But they will shock you.
But you see, the truth is, I know people will kill me. If you are such a man who thinks that women must tend to you for you to have a long life, be like my grandfather, have a wife for each age.
Yes, so.
In your middle age, have a wife. In your old age, have a small girl for blood tonic. That's all I will say.
And while you're doing blood
so that
tonic,
when I'm in my child's house, I don't disturb my
I like that. while you are doing your blood tonic, allow me
do
to
my
be at
own
the
blood
Maldives,
tonic.
to be at a boat cruise across the world. I would love that. So
It will not work in Nigeria.
Even if I don't want to Maldives,
It will work.
I want to be at my daughter's house where she's enjoying and have the freedom
don't
to
want
do
blood
blood
tonic?
So that we go there all right. Because some people think me, I just want to be around my
children.
people who I
Children
think
and
love me honestly,
grandchildren.
sincerely. So if I that day, don't go and start a guilt tripping party that it's not that I need that. No, but since money, you people should come and say I'm drinking water.
But your
I
children cannot
get
help your case in the other way.
No,
So, see, can we
let me
do
take
this?
I agree. Let me take a few comments from you.
Yeah, so it says, Gudubi said, my uncle was left by his kids and wife in Nigeria while them run go London. He was not allowed to come to London. Chichi also said that, I love my parents, but I can't talk to them for a long time. Somebody was referring to BC and saying that, I believe God prepared you to counsel people and be a healing balm.
Yes.
God bless you, ladies. Peace, harmony in your home in Jesus' name. The trend now is to abandon the husband and travel to the other side of the world to be a nanny until the usual wife, mother-in-law, palava becomes unbearable. Let children live their lives. And I think that's important.
I think I like to compartmentalize this thing. There's what you said earlier, which is important. While you're young, if you know you can't handle it, be bold enough to step aside. Because I can't take this. Now, if you choose to stay, you can make a decision that maybe in your 50s, whatever, my kids are now grown, I want to leave. You couldn't leave when you're younger, but now both of your kids are grown, you can say, I want to leave this marriage and explore. And both of you have an arrangement. The man also must begin to also plan for his own old age. If you know you're the kind of harsh man, don't leave your wife to plan old age for you. Plan your old age by yourself. You want to go and assign yourself to a elders home, or you want to go and plan. Because people in my father's generation, for example, Yoruba Tennis Club was their own retirement club. They're always there. After work, they go to Yoruba Tennis Club. They're hanging out, they're having it with your boys because your wife has gone to London. So have a plan for yourself.
Let me read
as an old man.
story. It's a bit long, but it will close on the child's story. So this person is a fan of the show and sent on Instagram. He said, today's topic on your view, my dad abandoned us just when I finished secondary school. The only thing he offered us was shelter. Some of my sisters had to marry just to have someone take care of them. I and my siblings went through hell to go to school. We had to beg from church members to known and unknown people. My dad wasn't poor. He just abandoned us because I remember going to his shop to beg for money for food and he ignored me. But the child of a widower he was coming out with, came out of the shop carrying food stuff and from the shop in my presence. But when he became old, we tried our best to manage and support him. But I personally couldn't forget the hurt I went through from the abandonment. Once in a while, I would send aid, but I always felt sad about it. You see that child never even find closure.
Yeah.
And you want to come and do video and be saying, you too,